Hello friends, this is video series on public administration and this is video 2.9, and today we are going to discuss about Elton Mayo for his further concepts. We have already read about his previous concepts of Clean-Cut method, inspection, then the great elimination or Hawthorne studies, then productivity enhancers and efficiency blockers, what are those things, then how he solved the heavy turnover problem in a factory. And then we have he gave the concept of social man also. So apart from that, his other concepts we will see now. So first is human attitudes and sentiments, how the attitudes of humans are obtained. So what happened, like in during 1928 to 1931, he did an interview of a lot of workers which were working in the factory, and then the workers was asked about anything, whichever thing they wanted to tell, they can tell. So there the concept of let off steam came. Means workers became happy after the interviews because they were telling anything, not only their problems, monetary problems or problem with the supervisor or anything, but they were telling their personal problems also, and that was like giving them relief. So they were thinking like working conditions have improved now. So you can write about concept of let off steam. Then which types of complaint the workers did during interview. So there were two types: manifest and material complaints, means which were manifest means directly visible. So those complaints like less payment or too much supervision from supervisor or working conditions are bad, like that. And latent psychological complaints. Latent mean hidden. So those complaints which managers generally are not able to find. For example, the personal problems of the workers, like family tragedy or sickness or any problem which the worker can have. So they were telling about these two things. So what was the findings of this experiment? So workers expressed freely and felt satisfied. That's it. And change in attitude of supervisor because they felt being observed. So what happened, like when workers were being interviewed, so supervisors became conscious, like if workers will tell their faults, or means if they will be too rude, then workers will target them. So they became a little humble and their supervisory became good. Then appreciation of feelings and sentiments of workers necessary. So this was the overall product of this, that you have to become good, you have to do good behavior with workers for their productivity enhancement. Okay. Then next experiment did by Mayo was on social organizations. Social organization means how to study how society behaves in a group behavior. So he did this bank wiring experiment, and in this experiment what happened, like 2-3 workers were combined together to do a particular task. So what are the findings? That group doesn't allow its members to increase or decrease output. It means that there is a certain benchmark of work that is being made by the group themselves, and they will neither allow you to work less than that, and they will nor allow you to work more than that. So, and there was logic of efficiency versus logic of sentiment. So logic of efficiency means maximum productivity, and logic of sentiments means what the workers feel. So logic of efficiency is done by the managers, and logic of sentiments is done by the workers. So workers, whatever they feel, they will produce that much only. Then concept of authority, as you can say, that means like this concept of authority, whatever I will be telling here, you have to understand the concept of authority or responsibility or power. All these concepts, how different thinkers have told different things. For example, Follett has said that authority is naturally comes from the situation. Then Henry Fayol will say that authority is directly in organizational structure. And here how Mayo says that should be based on social skills in securing cooperation rather than expertise. So these are the subtle differences that you have to remember between the different thinkers, and that will come handy in the examination. So this So according to Mayo, if you are able to socially means your communication skills are good and you are able to produce social contacts, then you will be having good authority. Then next experiment was during World War II. Some industries were feeling a heavy turnover and absentees, means people are not coming to work. So Mayo went there and researched, and some industries doing the same things, they were having good production and everything. So he studied the problem of heavy turnover and unjustified absenteeism. So why this many people were not coming to the work. So then he discovered this group based system, means informal group formation. So what happened, like those companies which were doing good now, there the production was done by groups. So the company formed a particular group and they were giving group wages, and whatever salary was given, that was based on the group. So what happened, like informal groups was formed, means there was a good relationship between that group members, and there came the concept of natural leader. Natural leader means whoever was most competent among that group, or whoever was able to naturally lead that group, he became the leader of that group. So he was apart from supervisors, the worker themselves chose their own leader. So what are the solutions after this? Means after he studied this heavy turnover problem, so he gave the solutions that first of all, you have to develop the human relations, means good cooperation. For good cooperation, you have to develop personal contacts with workers and informal group, and encourage cooperation, means you have to encourage cooperation by formation of groups within the workers, so the informal organization is formed. And upward communication you have to improve. Upward communication means the communication from the worker to the management. So always you can see that, like in FIOL, all the directions come from up to down. That is the classical thinking. So you can see how in humanistic thinking, this thinking has been changed from up to down to up, and this thing will be further improved in later thinkers when we will study about participative administration, or you have already studied in new public management or public choice approach or new public administration. These things were actually encouraged. So how they came based on these thinkers only. So criticism. So for any thinker you have to means remember at least 4 or 5 criticisms, because criticisms are very important in any answer. If you write biased answer, you won't get marks. So you have to write pros as well as cons in every answer. So first of all, first criticism was he was anti-union, pro-management, in the sense that he was studying that managerial conditions should be improved and how to get more attention of the workers. So in means he was opposed by unions. Then conclusions based on few studies. As you can see that whatever conclusions he made, that the studies were limited, like any 2-3 factories or something like that. Then sample of 6 too small, like in his group, the great elimination experiment, in which he formed the group of 6 girls. So that small group was too small to be called a big group. And then sense of cooperativeness in group, and when the small 6-member group was formed, so those 6 members were actually cooperating with the study teams, because they were being observed and they were felt like we should work harder because people have faith in us. So then Peter Drucker says that Mayo neglected the nature of work. So this is the most important criticism, because the nature of work does not only include the human relations, but it is also technical as well as economic factors. For example, technical factors, the productivity enhancement, like machinery and production capacity and everything, and economic factors means cost benefit analysis and everything. So these things were neglected by Mayo. He only concentrated on the human relations approach. Then paternalistic domination. This was all. Elton Mayo was accused that he is acting like parents act, and the intrusion in private life of workers. By that interviews, he was also accused that you are too much interfering in the life of the workers. And then in all his theories there is no place for conflict. As you can see that conflicts are inevitable in any organization or any society. So he has not talked about conflict also. Then goal should be to provide healthy outlets instead of conflict-free society. So according to other thinkers who have criticized him, they have said that the goal should be that you should provide some mechanisms so that people can resolve their conflicts, rather than thinking that there will be a free society and there will be no conflicts. Okay, then we will evaluate what means in evaluation you see all the pros and cons of this thinker. So first of all, his approach was innovative. This was the first human behavior thinker, and his experiments were totally innovative. Then different angle from traditional approach. So his angle was different. As you can see, traditional was means they were more on organization, structure and efficiency, and he was more concerned with human relations. Then he examined employee-employer relations, then stability of labor, and then supervision, how to supervise better, then how to improve the stability of labor, that is they don't leave the job, and then employer-employee relation means how they should manage their relations so that the atmosphere is cordial. Then useful for industrial as well as state administration, especially bureaucracy. So you can see that bureaucracy is too much apathetic towards the people. So in bureaucracy they need to improve the human relations so that bureaucracy becomes more humble. Then communication enhancement. So communication is should be the topmost priority of the management, and it should be from top down as well as upward communication, that is bottom up. Then first behavioral scientist, this you know. And then concept of Hawthorne effect. Hawthorne effect means that when you are being watched or you are being observed, you automatically give more attention to the work and the productivity enhances. So Hawthorne effect is all about being observed. So thank you guys, and hope you can write the answers on Elton Mayo now. And this is all about Elton Mayo. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much.